The Independent Electoral Commission says it's pleased with the turnout from its voter registration drive this past weekend. It says 2.9 million people participated in this process in one way or the other. All of this, of course, ahead of next year's elections. The IEC says 2.7 million people visited stations, while nearly 200,000 used the online portal. The Commission also pointing out, though, that it did miss its target of registering 1 million new voters. Let's unpack these developments for you now. Bring in the IEC's Deputy Chief Electoral Officer, Mawethu, Mosery, who joins us via our video link this morning. Great to have you on the program as always, sir. Thanks very much indeed for making time. So yeah, let's begin with just your take of how this past weekend has fared. You're pleased with the numbers, but you missed your own target. So was this a successful registration weekend insofar as the IEC is concerned? And what are you basing that on?
Good morning, Ayanda, as well as your viewers. Indeed, it is a successful weekend on a few considerations. Obviously, the logistical operation that we undertake to open 23,296 sites at the same time for both days is a very good feedback to us and an indicator. Secondly, you remember that in 2021 we had a challenge with our new technologies in terms of registering voters. And this time they held their ground. They did what we had wanted them to do back in 2021. We were able to register seamlessly all the people who arrived. And thirdly, the fact that we activated people that are on record as 2.9 million, there are those that are not on record who visited voting stations. And they were able to check their particulars and they found their particulars correct. We didn't record those kinds of visits, and we have many who visited voting stations for that purpose. So to activate the country together with yourselves as media houses and political parties to be active to the extent of almost 3 to 4 million is a good indicator of a vibrant democracy and active democracy. Certainly when it comes to young first-time voters, if you look at the almost 600,000 that we have, almost 80% of that are young voters, first-time voters. Yes, the other 20% is older voters, much more mature human beings or citizens who also were triggered to come and participate.
Right. Yes, despite that, we're also finding, though, that we're still quite a far cry from the eligible amount of young voters who can still come forward to at least register ahead of next year's polls. And I wonder what we could put that down to, I beg your pardon, because for as long as I've been doing this, the concern has always been around how we get young people to arrive at the polls. There is an uptick in the interest, so perhaps there's an argument to be made about how the work that's been put in is yielding some results. The question, of course, is how do we take it all the way, given how much time we have left until next year's elections?
Certainly, and we have to take the work forward. I don't think we should stop here. It was the first registration weekend. We've indicated that there will be another registration weekend, but our online platform is available 24/7, so we do expect voters to continue using the platform to register. Actually, just to share with yourself and viewers is that once we closed voting stations at 5 p.m. on Sunday, we still received on the online platform over 10,000 people updating and registering new. So the campaign continues. Young people are saying, we do not know, especially your first-time younger voters, the 18 to 24-year-olds are still saying, we do not have enough information that encourages us to participate. Not so much how to participate, it's more encouraging them to participate. So we have to continue to do that work. And then we certainly have another band that is disillusioned, which we need to say, let's redirect energies to participation rather than withdrawing from our electoral process and our political processes in the country.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. And also it's a message we're sending to communities who opted to boycott the participation and not come to the registration stations, Ayanda.
Right. Participating, maybe I should say, covering an election is not easy, but holding one is also no small feat, especially because it's so financially demanding. A couple of years ago, there were real concerns about how budget cuts to the IEC may affect your ability to carry out a free, fair, and credible election. How big a concern is that now that, quite frankly, the ball is rolling on our election season?
I always say to my colleagues and other friends that we can never put a price on democracy. We can never say we have sufficient resources. But I want to just say categorically for this election, our state coffers have given a budget that is sufficient to deliver this election and are ensuring that this election is credible and fair to all the contestants and the voters, all 26 million of them who are on the voters' roll will experience this election in a good way. So we are sufficiently resourced to deliver a very good election this election 2024.
All right, that's good to hear, and hopefully that encourages more people to actually participate given what's at stake. Mawethu, Mosery, as always, thanks for your time. Appreciate